era of the transfer guru. Journalists who know every single element about a transfer and drip feed it to you before you even know that it's happening. Hell, Fabrizio Romano probably knew this video was coming before I'd even scripted it. Microsoft Word, open. For every David Ornstein, for every Samuel Luckhurst, there's 185 Doncaster residents called Paul who know Nathaniel Klein's left uncle and set up a fake Twitter account to spread false information. This is the ITK. You may have never heard of it, but it's a faceless Twitter account that'll talk about transfer rumors across the Premier League and even Europe, usually in varying degrees of vagueness, stoking up a fan base's hype on a player before letting them down more than Tottenham's medical department. Here's why it's time to kill off ITK Twitter accounts. I don't mean kill them, by the way, not like as in physically. Look at the structural integrity of my chair, by the way, before we start this. What the heck is going on here? Listen, yeah, become a member, hit the join button. Please fund this Nigerian boy getting a new chair. One join will be enough. I'll just get a plastic one. ITK, it stands for in the know. And this, alas, is where the problem starts. I don't even want to know. If you know, then keep your no. I don't want to know it. I made videos in the past on how I think Fabrizio Romano has negatively affected the world of footballing news and transfer activity, certainly from a footballing space when it comes to online social media activity. I don't mean in a deep way, necessarily a legal way, I just mean in the essence of current football. I think one massive issue for me in terms of the beautiful game feeling so different now from a perspective of transfers especially is that we know everything before anything happens. We don't get shock transfers anymore, okay? You'll never get that Mesut Ozil moment where Arsenal fans find out live in a random car park that they've signed a player that's going to revolutionise their season and their football club.
Mesut Ozil is now going to be playing in the Premier League for Arsenal.
That dildo that was also on Sky Sports News that time, Fabrizio Romano would have used it beforehand to ensure structural integrity of the story. Yo, my brain is collapsed today. I'm sorry, guys, for what you're going to hear in this video. Okay, something else now open. Look, what I'm trying to say is Fab is just doing his job. What I just said, probably more outside of his job description. I don't like it personally. I miss the fact that there used to be a little bit of mystery and wonder when it came to transfer announcements, when it came to a club announcing a player on Twitter and it being the first time you'd heard about it. But technically what he's doing isn't immoral, except for when he starts promoting probable criminals that play for Marseille. But at the very least, 99% of his information is sourced well and actively is true. It's something that's happening. Even if it's a transfer that ends up breaking down, the information is there, the evidence is there to back it up. ITK, it stands for in the know. And alas, that's where the second problem lies. They don't even know. The things I'm now forced to know against my will are things they think they know, but they and the person involved doesn't even know. So my answer to that is no. I'm not having this nonsense, guys. Genuinely, the amount of times I see Twitter accounts now that are putting out some vague things indicating that Arsenal are gonna sign one player and Chelsea are gonna sell another one. There's no information. This is a guy with 20,000 followers, which is fine. He's accumulated a decent following. He has no qualifications, no reason to believe him in his bio. He or she is not affiliated to any sort of journalistic outlet. And it's not just me that's frustrated because Troops was left angry over on Twitter as well.
Them fucking Twitter little fucking whatever the fuck you call them, bro. Why don't you fucking cancel your fucking internet fucking connection, bro?
And I'm not surprised it's Troops or someone from Arsenal Fan TV previously that's getting upset because the Arsenal ones this season and this transfer window just gone have been egregious. I get it, January wasn't that active, okay? It never really is these days anymore. We've got to keep ourselves entertained with random useless rumors that spring about all over the place. I mean, there's not gonna be a Liverpool one, is there? Let's be honest. There's not gonna be a Liverpool ITK. We don't fucking do anything. If you're a Liverpool in the know agent, put your phone on do not disturb. You got a screen time of 8 minutes per week. A Liverpool ITK Twitter account, yeah, I'm telling you now, it would look absolutely derelict. Threads related ones would be at Job Centre. And for that matter, I'm pretty sure all the other ones are as well. You know what it is with Arsenal actually, and I'm going to talk about Arsenal here. I feel like I talk about Arsenal a lot at the moment. I hope Arsenal fans are alright with that. It just seems to be the talking point all the time. And this time it's not even their fault. The club isn't doing anything. Arguably the fans aren't doing anything either. The fans are actually getting scammed here. But the reason I think is because Arsenal are like a perfect blend. You know, they're interested in a lot of players. They're busy in terms of trying to make things happen in the transfer market. They also then don't sign any of those players and also have a heavily emotional fan base. So you're gonna get a lot of talk, okay? It inspires a potential ITK agent who thinks he's the next Fabrizio Romano, but ultimately just doesn't have any sort of information to spring up out of nowhere and to farm some engagements. United are kind of the same, but they actually sign the players and then they become terrible. And again, if I'm an Arsenal supporter and I catch these ITKs on Twitter at any point, they're getting it on the top of the noggin. You've got guys, yeah, collaborating together. This has been the worst part. These fake news outlets that are posting extremely vague things like a little eyes emoji to get people gassed up as if they know something, in particular about maybe Ollie Watkins going to Arsenal. That was something that was getting talked about at this time. Then a next guy comes and arrives and replies saying, oh my god, if this is what I think it is, it's gonna be massive. They're in cahoots. It's another in the know man who knows what the in the know man from before knows. Then another response saying it's gonna break the internet. What exactly is gonna break the... You're not sworn to secrecy. There's no legal documents here that prevent you from saying what you're going to say. If you have knowledge, just say it. That's what Fabrizio Romano would do. He's not gonna... Obviously, he'd wait around to make sure that it's fully sourced. But if you have this golden information that you're so sure is true, even if it's not gonna lead to a transfer, even if negotiations are gonna break down, just say it. If you're so confident about it, then say it. Rather than trying to tease everybody and just, as I said, farm engagements to grow your own standing and your own following. Ollie Watkins was practically creasing at his phone when he saw these lot engaging in anime-style script writing on the timeline. These lot are bullshit, bro. Imagine being an Arsenal fan, yeah? You've been promised Ollie Watkins, Nico Williams, David Trezeguet in a semi-detached house in southwest London and you leave with nothing. Still playing Kai Havertz up front. I might just become one, actually. Fuck it. If you can't beat them, join them. You know what, lads? Crazy information. A secret source of mine, yeah, that's come out of nowhere, has said that Arne Slot for our next home game is gonna parachute down into Anfield, onto the centre circle, polish his bald head, then throw a C4 into the opponent's technical area. But if I put hashtag ITK or something in there, or I put an eyes emoji at the end, or I say more details to follow, then it's fine. What more details could you even need, by the way, after that happens? Just call the police. I can categorically guarantee if Arne Slot does do that, he will get arrested. So that's my knowledge on the whole situation. What I am trying to say, yeah, okay, is that I think people need to be brought to task a little bit here, because a lot of accounts, and I know there's not really a way to police it, because ultimately tomorrow you could just come up with an anonymous Twitter account and just start making up random shit. It's gonna be hard to police, isn't it, realistically, because at any point in time you could just make an anonymous Twitter account, start teasing at transfers that have already been talked about by highly recognized journalists, talk about things that are very much in the public domain already and that you don't really have any sort of added information on, but you act as if you do and suddenly you're a trusted source. I think what I'm more saying is this is a plea to football fans amongst football Twitter. Don't believe these people, okay? They don't know more than you. I'm actively gonna go out on a limb and say that genuinely. There have been very little times I've ever seen an ITK account actually say something with chest, first of all, that doesn't happen anyway, and then be correct about it. Even if you follow Fabrizio Romano, I've said my piece about Fabrizio Romano and that I don't respect the way that he goes about certain things journalistically, but at the very least what he says is correct. Go and follow the actual journalists like a David Ornstein, like a Paul Joyce, because they know what's going on. In the aftermath, actually, in fairness, a lot of Arsenal fans have called these guys out and been like, you promised us this, you said you knew this information and nothing happened. To which a lot of them said, oh, I don't know what happened, I didn't know what was going on. Well, then you're not in the know, are you? That's the whole point of the Twitter account. I had enough of this shit, man. You're purposefully aggregating and perpetuating false information when it comes to transfers, and I believe strongly about this from a journalistic perspective, but also on the integrity of the transfer market. I want Peter Odemwingie turning up outside of a stadium at some point. I don't want a random man from Twitter turning up because he thinks he knows more than the dons who work for The Times or The Telegraph. Transfer windows are already a nightmare in comparison to what they used to be. We don't need extra people jumping into the mix and trying to muddy the waters even more. And to some people, that might seem like quite an attractive thing to do. You know, ultimately, you can build a following. That's what I will say, is people have definitely built some kind of social media, you know, numbers. Maybe I'm being harsh, you know, a couple of these guys, they might know the ins and outs of a few things, yeah. But more often than not, they're proved wrong when it comes to the bigger stuff. It's not mutually exclusive. They might have a lead. They might have had a lead on a story from like the last transfer window, and now they're expecting to have that same lead the next time, or that next source will come come through the next time. But more time, you just don't, and then you end up with this weird relationship between fans and news reporters who, they just don't trust them. So what I'm saying is, long and short of it, trust the dons that are actually certified, that work, you know, in the industry. They're the ones that are going to give you the information. As for the people that do come under the ITK umbrella, please stop it. What do you make of this whole situation, man? Because I'm seeing it more and more. It wasn't a thing as badly until like this year. It's always been a thing, but like I'm really seeing like a lot of people like go down this trajectory now. I'm pretty sure it all started after one guy had the name ITK written in his ad, and he was like the one guy that maybe had a story after time. It's like Indie Kalia or something on Twitter. But yeah, it seems to be a lot more prominent now, and I don't like the way that it's going. You know where you can find a source of footballing information, but mostly just chatting shit? Right here on the FNG channel. So make sure to subscribe. It'd be massively appreciated. I'm always talking about football shenanigans over here. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to slap a like on it. As I mentioned, you can become a member as well by hitting the join button down below. It's the easiest way to support the channel and help fund a chair. And you can also follow me on social media. It is at @officialfng on Twitter and on Insta. It's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.